There are few historians who would challenge the fact that the funding of World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War was accomplished by the Mandrake mechanism through the Federal Reserve System. Collectivism and freedom are mortal enemies. Only one will survive. The same evidence that is convincing to one person may not convince another. The John Birch Society is not ultra-conservative, communist-hating, and racist as opponents paint it. I am in agreement with income tax protesters that the tax, as commonly applied, is unconstitutional, unfair, and immoral. The Fed has become an accomplice in the support of totalitarian regimes throughout the world. Whenever a partnership is formed, there has to be a benefit to the partners. Otherwise, they don't form it. If we took information only from sources with which we agreed on all issues, we would be left with merely quoting ourselves, and we would miss a great deal of truth. Most tragic mistake in history occurred when the United States joined the UN. An overview of all wars since the establishment of the Bank of England in 1694 suggests that most of them would have been greatly reduced in severity, or perhaps not even fought at all, without fiat money. It is the ability of governments to acquire money without direct taxation that makes modern warfare possible, and a central bank has become the preferred method of accomplishing that. The dangerous thing about platform introductions is that they tend to create unrealistic expectations. What I am going to tell you is this. Although it is commonly believed that the war on terrorism is a noble effort to defend freedom, in reality, it has little to do with terrorism and even less to do with the defense of freedom. There is no such thing as absolute proof. There is only evidence. EO 11110 did not order the printing of silver certificates. It ordered the amendment of a previous executive order so that the United States Code would authorize or empower the Secretary of the Treasury to issue silver certificates if the occasion should arise. If you look at a copy of EO 11110, you will find that it does not order the issuance of silver certificates. It orders an amendment to EO 10289. Those functions did not include the power to issue silver certificates. When I did my research on this topic, I came to the startling conclusion that the Federal Reserve System does not need to be audited, it needs to be abolished. This is very intriguing to think we should audit the Fed, but I discovered that probably if they audited the Fed, it would get a clean bill because it's undoubtedly doing exactly what it's supposed to do according to the law. The Federal Reserve is incapable of accomplishing its stated objectives. When the dollar was separated entirely from gold in 1971, it ceased being the official IMF world currency and finally had to compete with other currencies. From that point forward, its value increasingly became discounted. As long as the dollar remains in high esteem as a trade currency, America can continue to spend more than it earns. But when the day arrives, as it certainly must, when the dollar tumbles and foreigners no longer want it, the free ride will be over. Criminals gravitate into government positions like natural law. We can see our liberties vanishing here in the United States. A little bit here and a little piece there. We can see it, we can feel it, and we can hear it. The Constitution acknowledges two kinds of taxes, direct and indirect. Examples of direct taxes are income and property taxes. Examples of indirect taxes are import and excise taxes. There is simply no limitation on the realistic power of the UN over us. The existing UN can be found in the writings of early communist leaders. The general belief is that communists in the United Nations come only from the Iron Curtain countries, but this isn't so. We must remember that many of the representatives of free countries are members of the local communist parties. If you add them all up, you will see they have an amazing degree of control.